Let's talk about Kawhi, and I saw some interesting stuff from you on this and what he's doing right now that in some ways may reshape the way basketball looks in the immediate future. Explain that, because I think it's very interesting.
Absolutely. So a guy like Kawhi Leonard, he's been able to play in all phases of the game. In the era of analytics, and I just did an interview on the New Yorker, people talk so much about the three-point shot and how a contested three-point shot is better than an uncontested two-point shot. And I got one word for that. It's ridiculous. To end the third quarter in the previous game, the Raptors went on a 12-2 run. They made 4 mid-range jump shots, 4 free throws, 3 by Kawhi Leonard, 1 by Fred VanVleet. Once you get to this level of basketball, the scouting, the coaching, the players are so very advanced and so very good, you have to have some level of sneak attack. If I know that you're going to hover around the three-point line and take three-point shots that are contested, I can get out there and defend that. They're playing in all areas of the floor. They're playing at the three. They're playing mid-range. They're playing in post. You see them getting it off drives. You see them getting it off transitions. This has been a complete complete Raptors offensive attack, and this is why the Golden State Warriors have struggled to defend this team the entire series.
I'm with you, and it's centered around a guy in Kawhi Leonard who's having legitimately as good a postseason as just about any that we've ever seen in the entire history of the sport. I think there will be some who will wonder how, if at all, this impacts his future. If he decides to leave Toronto, which I think has been many people's expectation after this year, if they win a championship and they build the whole thing around him, and I can hear all the fans behind you, they love him like crazy. Do you think that what happens tonight or over the course of this week affects what he decides to do in his future?
Here's the deal. The Golden State Warriors play in California. There are 4 teams that play in that state. There are 2 teams that play in Los Angeles. There's 1 team that play in this nation. That's the Toronto Raptors. And I'll tell you this. If they win a championship, it's going to be virtually really difficult to walk away from a parade, Greeny. There are different cities in Toronto that have set up Jurassic Parks. There are also, you can go to the movie theaters and not see Wakanda like my sweater. You get a chance to see the Raptors play. They bought into this team. They're really enthusiastic about this opportunity, and I'd be surprised if they don't get it done.
There's one other thing I want to ask you about, if you can hear me and the audience can hear you over the din behind you, and that is, I know you made the point about, in a note that I saw, about how Kawhi has changed the mentality of that team as well. And as unhappy as many in Toronto were, including some of the players on that team, when DeMar DeRozan was traded away, that Kawhi Leonard brought not only what he does on the floor, but a different mentality to that team. And that's something I don't think everyone knows. Could you share that?
How about a quiet level of leadership? So there are different ways to do this. You see those type of players that are outgoing, outspoken, thumping on their chest, cussing at their teammates, in-your-face type of leadership. Then you see the Kawhi Leonard do as I do type of leadership. And if you notice, after each win, the Toronto Raptors ain't happy to be here. They're not celebrating after the first win. They're not celebrating after the second win. They did 0 celebrating after the third win. That's because you're following behind your best player and his quiet demeanor, a guy that's won a championship, that's been a finals MVP, and understand that there's still work to be done. So that level of leadership is what this Toronto Raptors team has bought into. And look at a guy like Kyle Lowry. He was so upset at Masai Ujiri for trading his best friend DeMar DeRozan, he didn't even speak to him this season. I bet when he get his championship ring, he's going to go jump in Masai Ujiri's lap and hug him like a 5-year-old, because that's what the game is all about.
Well, listen, Leonard has played his way into the Hall of Fame this postseason, and Masai Ujiri may very well have generally managed his way into the Hall of Fame with those 2 moves, because Nick Nurse has coached brilliantly through these playoffs, and obviously Kawhi has been spectacular. So just to put a ribbon on the conversation, you expect the Raptors to win tonight, end the series, and win the championship tonight at home?
I do expect the Toronto Raptors to win the night on their home floor and win the championship. And Greeny, you talked about a couple of Masai Ujiri's moves. Let's count the ways. Everybody's going to talk about the Kawhi Leonard move, but don't sleep. Danny Green was really good a couple of games ago knocking down threes. They acquired him. How about acquiring Marc Gasol, their starting center this year as well, from the Memphis Grizzlies? So now all of a sudden this team is on the brink of eliminating a dynastic situation in the Golden State Warriors. And let's just be honest, it's great theater for the league.